Hello and welcome to another Halloween themed episode of Toys from the Attic, where we're still taking a look at ToyBizz's Spider-Man and his Vampire War line. So for today, we're going to be taking a look at Vampire Spider-Man. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. Bitten by the mutated vampire Morbius, Spider-Man gains the strength and power of a vampire himself. With his new vampire abilities, Spider-Man becomes a powerful creature of the night. A Spider-Man unlike any other, the vampire Spider-Man still fights on the side of good and hopes to put an end to the vampire wars. Okay, so here we have ToyBizz's Spider-Man's Vampire Wars, Vampire Spider-Man. Where do I begin with this guy? Now, I know I said I don't normally like to buy variations of figures, especially if they were never in the show. And Spider-Man never turned into a vampire in the show, although that would have been really cool. However, this guy's so monstrous and creepy looking and just off the wall that, yeah, I had to buy him. When it comes to monsters or some sort of mutation, I will buy those ones because that just opens up the ability for kids to play a lot more. I mean, you can have a lot more stories with this thing. Let me start off with talking about his gimmick. He came with this weird bat spider. Now, as far as I'm concerned, whenever you combine a bat with a spider, that's just going to be the creepiest thing. Yeah, it has a lot of these little spikes, these red little glowing eyes, fangs, and it flies. This is actually a missile, and I really apologize. I could not find the missile launcher that snaps onto his hand, and I'm actually happy it was one that snapped onto his hand rather than just building a big thing that just I hate it whenever they make the missile launcher part of the actual hand. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. This guy never really flew that far because it's not aerodynamic and the spring was never that powerful, so you might get something that goes like maybe about 3 inches and then falls. Anyways, he also comes with this nice soft fabric cape that has this weird little bat creature on the back. Now, the cape is fully removable, however, I'm not going to actually remove it because I just actually put it back on for him. I removed it a long time ago, and the fabric is that type to where if you stretch it too much, it'll probably start to rip and fray a lot more, so I'm just going to leave it on him. You can definitely see how nasty his face looks. I mean, his mask has just been ripped open because his jaw's extended out. You can see that his ears are protruding up, and he has just this big open jaw. Now, actually, there are no real visible fangs on him, and he has more of a Nosferatu face more than an actual weird vampire face. And elephant in the room, you can definitely see that his arms are actually really super expanded. This is kind of always weird because he has that tiny, thin Spider-Man body along with the legs, but yet these really super massive and almost Popeye-ish arms with these weird creeping hands and wings. Now, I do like the detailing on them. I mean, you can definitely see that there's some carving of fur in there, and the veins are painted purple, so you can definitely see that they're protruding. As I've gone on to before, a lot of toys at this time, they could easily just they would just forget about painting in the veins, and when you buy the toy, you would actually see it. Yeah, the hands are just so big and creepy. It definitely is the creepiest vampire out of this toy line. The same thing with the feet. You can see that they've just been extended and they're really big and gross. He looks more almost werewolfish than vampire-ish. And it makes me wonder like why he got so mutated this way as opposed to Morbius becoming a giant kind of hulkish bat creature. And why don't more vampires look like this? I'm not really a fan of vampires anyway, so go figure. Now, some of the flaws on this toy is that he can't actually stand with these feet, and that's kind of sad. Let me see if I can. You can kind of see right here. There's no matter which way I position the legs and the joints of the knee. I should actually say that let me go off and say that. Yeah, his head can move side to side. Arms can move up and down. Elbow articulation, leg articulation, knee articulation, and that's about it. Anyways, back to this. Yeah, you can't really see how well he stands here. I mean, there's no way for both feet to be firmly planted. One's always going to be off at this angle, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just a flaw in the design. I mean, it just doesn't fit, and I don't know if you're supposed to stand him with his arms partly balancing him, and yeah, you just need a good foundation for him to stand on, especially with these arms, because that's going to make him so heavy and want to lean forward. Yeah, it's very hard to get this guy to stand. Now, one other sad thing about this is because his arms are so big, that's actually made his chest want to come apart. Oh, I should also say he has these nice weird fangs or horn. Oh, let me adjust the camera. Sorry about that. He has these nice weird horns and fangs that are popping up here. And because the arms are so big, you can see that the torso has started to split apart. I don't know if that's just mine being weak, but I remember him kind of being out of the box and that's starting to separate. So that is one little sad flaw that the more I play with this guy, although I'm too old to play with him, but the more I pose him or ever show him off, eventually his torso is going to split. Anyways, there he is kind of standing, but as you can see, yeah, his feet just aren't firmly planted. Anyways, this has been a look at Toy Bizz's Vampire Wars Vampire Spider-Man. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show would be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.